What is up, everybody? Skratch coming up with another Raid Shadow Legends video. Welcome to the channel, everyone. In today's video, we have HWZ on the channel, the #1 MC in Raid Shadow Legends. I'm gonna leave the link to his channel in the description down below or in the pinned comment. Make sure you guys head over and check him out. He drops some awesome content. And just to kind of like kick it off, guys, I'm thinking to make kind of like a sort of interviews with different people that do Platinum Arena, kind of like to see them from different perspectives, different accounts, talking about failures, talking about successes, talking about out-of-the-box teams and these sort of things, because I know a lot of you guys are interested into Platinum Arena, but a lot of you guys kind of like have like a setback. I don't want to do it because either I don't have the OP champs or the time zone is the main issue for the majority of people, I would assume. But what's up, H? How you doing, buddy? Nice to finally have you on the channel.
I'm doing great, man. I'm glad to be here. Thank you for, reaching out. It's 4:30 in the morning right now, but I feel pretty good. I've been getting up for this Plat reset, for the past almost 3 months now. I started actually pushing about 3 months ago. Before then, I had never pushed before. So I'm feeling good, man. I enjoy Mondays.
It is a fun time, definitely. I wish it would just last more than the last 15, 20 minutes, 25 minutes, So hopefully live arena will be a bit more interesting. We'll have some decent rewards. Will be a bit more competitive, so people will be interested in doing it. It just seems like Plarium doesn't want to change the schedule for the classic arena. They don't want to introduce multiple resets. They don't want to rotate the reset time either. I don't know why they're keeping it so bad. So many people will be doing arena if the time would be a bit more reasonable for them, like it's horrible for you guys, like right now I said 4 a.m. in the morning and you still have that energy to kick it off.
Yeah, man. And it's not like they couldn't do it. Like they changed CVC once where we had CVC on the weekend. So I don't understand why they couldn't, just change reset. Maybe like, half of the month we get reset at a different time. The other half, it'll be the traditional time. Like, I feel like it's not that difficult to implement,
Absolutely. It just feels like they, for some reason, they don't want to do it. They're mentioning that, well, this works good with our reset time when we get into the office. Yeah, but is that your main source of income? You guys going to the office or the people playing it? Basically, it's a bit odd, the decision. But guys, the whole idea is we're gonna check a bit his account. We're gonna have a quick look at some arena fights that he did. I think the video that you sent me was from last week, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yes, it was from last week. Yep.
So we're gonna check a bit what sort of teams he's using, kind of like an idea what sort of money he spent on the account, at least for the last 1 year. The meta changed so much, and we have Empowering, Awakening, Ascending of the Gear, and I would say that even if you spent 100k 2 years ago, you're still gonna be irrelevant today with everything that changed in the game. That's kind of like how I feel like things evolve so much that if somebody that spent 100k 2 years ago is coming back to the game, it's gonna be like, my god, let me just take out my credit card and drop another 100k to be able to catch up. I feel like that's the situation at the moment in the game. What do you think? Because I know you took a break for like 8 months or so, right? Because we were talking before.
Yeah. So I took a break from content, but I never took a break from the game.
Okay.
So that's probably why I'm, able to even like, that's probably why in my mind I feel like I can push, but my account still isn't quite there. So like I took a break from creating content. I was still playing every day, still very active. But like you said, you could spend 100k a few years ago, and if you didn't spend that in the last year, you're gonna be so far behind. We got blessings now, we got empowerment now, faction guardians, all of these things in the last year, new champions, OP broken champions, like buffs to champions like Baron. Right now, rated is a crazy time for PvP. If you're coming back to the game, and like I didn't spend that much in the last year. I didn't, I don't usually buy shards at all. So for me, it's pretty much just gems and energy. I'm a big CVC guy. I really like CVC, so that's primarily where I focus all of my resources and just building my account as a whole. I was never much of a PvP player before, like the last 6 months or so, when I was really trying to push and stay consistent and go for 3v3. That was like a big thing for me, just because I really enjoy CVC. And so now my shift has changed to be focused more on like Platinum Arena, and then when Live Arena comes out, I'll be a lot focused on that. But no, I don't have 100K hey, to just blow, man. It's that's a lot of money, and I feel like if I had that, I would not spend it in raid.
Absolutely not. Like 100k for a lot of people can be life changing, So it's definitely a thing that I wouldn't do either if I would have 100k in my pocket right now. Uh, How you find Arena, like coming back into it, right? Like, let me quickly just bring your account on the screen. So I don't have every single champion, but that's kind of like as an idea, guys. You can see what champions he has. So he does have quite a few strong champions. He has a Sifi. He managed to have to pull a double Rotos in here. We have a Harima, which is a newish champion, so you can call her Mera because she's very powerful. We have a Tranda. We have, of course, what's his name? Cardial. We have Ramantu. We have Mitrala from the Hydra. We have a Warlord in here. We have an Ultimate Death Knight, a Kaimar, Arbiter, of course. And the main thing that is lacking in here to kind of like be kind of like bar to bar with the meta is having either a Georgid, either a Baron. Like, those are the champions that really enable your offense to become more powerful. Of course, there's no Marichka and Taras in here, and they are quite a few different things lacking. Like, I don't see a Necret as well, which is very, very important in the current meta, especially for offense as well, depending on what sort of champs you're using. So it's a bit harder to push. A lot of you guys might be like, well, this is a stacked account. It's a pretty solid account, but even with what you have here, it's still very, very, very hard. Like, I'm telling you from my own perspective, like from my account, not having Yumeko, which is so important in the current meta, is just painful when you're doing your offense, because instead of farming somebody in 30, 40, 50 seconds, you end up farming them in like 60 to 90 seconds, which is a massive, massive difference, But what are kind of like the most used champions that we have in here for Arena,
So 100% Kaimar, Warlord, Sifi, Harima is my go-to for offense. I have two Warlords, I have two Kaimars, obviously two Rotos as well. So as far as like tag team arena goes, I feel like I have very solid teams there. I'm confident about offense and tag team arena, as well as like defense and tag team arena. I get a decent amount of wins there, surprisingly. But in classic arena, when you can only pick 4 champions, like I don't have. There's no Duchess, there's no Mortu, there's no Yumiko, there's no Necrit, there's no Usurga. I'm missing a lot of champions that some people have just been either fortunate to pull, or they don't stop pulling until they get them. I don't have that luxury, so I've made do with what I have, and like I said, I invest a lot more into farming gear. I don't think I've gotten any gear packs since like my first month playing the game, and I've been playing 3 years now every day. Like I don't think I've ever missed a day playing raid. So like when we talk, like I try to tell people, like when people tell me about like their gear and their progress, or what they've accomplished, and I'm like, yo, did you take time off from the game? That's a huge thing, because not farming daily, like just using every bit of energy you can to farm when like we have these like drop events now, and just doing fusion. Like I've missed very few fusions. There's only been a few fusions that I've skipped. So I've been extremely consistent with playing raid for the last 3 years. Like it makes 3 years now. Actually, this week will be my 3rd year playing the game. So like gear is 100% not the issue. I don't have empowerment, and I don't have a few of the meta champions. Like if I pull another Rotos, I'm gonna +2 my main Rotos, and I might start using Rotos on offense more for classic arena. But right now I'm using Harima in a damage build. I would love to switch her to more of a support build, bring in Rotos, but we got the UDK meta, which is an issue as well. I've been seeing a lot of UDKs the past 2 weeks, so still need a Georgid, still need a Baron, like still don't have a nice bomb team to go in and bomb some of those stone skin teams. Like these are just things that I'm aware of that I'm lacking on the offensive side, but I still try to push Platinum Arena pretty much every week. Like I think I've only missed 2 weeks in the last 3 months. So
Yeah.
I'm still gonna give it, my best go, even though I know what what my account is lacking.
100%, man. Like that's the way to do it, you know. Like even as long as you are aware, I'm not gonna compete for top 10. I'm not gonna compete for top 20 because you gotta spend, like, those people spend around 10k a month just to maintain their accounts at the top, you know. Like I don't afford to spend that a month either, so I'm not even going with the mindset, okay, I'm going for number one, you know. I'm just going and having fun. That's when I'm doing it. I'm just going in and having fun. I don't really care about placing top 10, top 5 or stuff. Yeah, I would like it. I'm not saying I'm not, but I'm not going in with that mindset. I gotta compete for that spot, you know, because I know I cannot get a 450 UMEC on my account. You know, I cannot spend 10k on Soulstones this month just to be able to catch up with the other Kraken that's in front of me. So I'm not thinking it like that. So it's definitely the right mindset to have. Go in, have fun, do your best. And I see right here on the screen I have Kaimar, Sifi, Warlord, and Rotos. Is this kind of like your main sort of defense that you're keeping, or is that's just the bait one before them? Because you're changing it
Yeah,
now.
exactly. So that's my like midweek defense. I don't even put the Rotos in. I put the Harima in just because of, you know, I have her in a crazy build. So even, you know, without empowerment, I have 0 faction guardian in that faction as well. She's still, you know, 7k defense, 300 crit damage, right? So she is the strongest nuker on my account. So that's the team I go with. I don't think I take any losses during the week. And I don't know why people target it so much. When I put Rotos in, people don't target the team at all. And it's not like I'm trying to, you know, catch, you know, points and ranking on defense, because obviously I would like to farm it up more, especially if we have an arena tournament going on, kind of like how we do now. I just go with that team, but, you know, yeah, sometimes I'll put Rotos in there. If my Rotos was stronger, I would 100% just have Rotos in there, because he's obviously a very, you know, he has a lot of like variation with what his kit can accomplish for you on both offense and defense. That, you know, Harima brings some skill with her passive, of course, but once they kill her, like, and I've seen a few champions that can kill her very easily, like, you know, all that goes away. So would love to be using my Rotos a lot more, because I have invested a lot in him, and I know that, like, with empowerment, I can have a crazy build, because he's already, like, my stats are already nice for like a year ago, but like I've already done the math. With empowerment, my Rotos would be on par with some of the Rotoses that, like,
Are out there,
I've
yeah.
seen people show. Yeah, just, you know, because I've already done the math on it. So I'm just waiting. I'm waiting patiently. I pull my little clan ball shards, man.
Hoping for it. Yeah, it's so hard to get the champions now, man. Like there's so many non-void legendaries. It's just crazy, you know. It definitely gets it definitely gets pretty hard. And one thing that I kind of like jumped over it that you were mentioning, farming the gear, right? Because you were mentioning you haven't skipped a day. That's definitely very important, especially if you're taking in consideration faction wars, Doom Tower. Like, I know now they brought the new dungeon stages out and we're getting mythical gear, which are kind of like making a bit more irrelevant the Doom Tower and the Forge itself. But just being able to farm the Dark Fae, farm the rest of the bosses, and do it on every single day, don't skip a beat basically, and that will give you some strong gear. Of course, it's RNG from account to account, you know, but it's all about managing your resources properly, skipping some of the fusions that are irrelevant, and yeah, you don't need to complete everything in the game every single day in terms of, I want to do every single fusion. It's pointless. It's no need to do it. Like, a lot of us might do every single fusion. I'm skipping some fusions, of course, because it's just no point for me, and eventually I'm gonna end up in pulling it, but they just stay in the vault, man, you know. Like, if they're not champions like Pythian right now, that was kind of like one of the best fusions that we had probably for the entire year last year, you know. So Pythian is definitely a very, very strong champion, and you're gonna see Pythian being used in Platinum Arena a lot, and that has been called at the beginning. When I've seen the kit as well, I was like, this is a must do fusion. He's a top 3 fusion champion in the game, so you definitely don't want to skip it. But when there are other champions like Marinix or whatever was the name, like, where are you guys using that champion except keeping the vault warm, basically, you know? So it's
right.
You gotta pick it right, and better work on farming some gear with the energy that you're investing in the fusion, you know. That's kind of like
Yeah,
my
definitely.
take on it. And what was like,
Yeah,
go on,
oh, go ahead. Sorry.
go on.
I was gonna say, yeah, I'm big at farming gear like is number one for me. Farming gear, getting silver for the gear that's not good is because like even if I showed you like a screenshot of my silver, like I don't have a ton of silver. I have a good bit of silver now because we had CVC this week, and like I went to take advantage of the end of the Forge Pass, so I did a bunch of champ training to get ready for the champ training event that's coming up. So I have some silver now, but it's still only like 40 million. Where you have guys that have like a billion silver on their account, like they're over this as negative,
Mm.
like. I don't even have enough silver to roll all the gear on my account, but
It does get there, yeah, it does get there because you're just not getting enough silver generally, and especially since they introduced stage 25, you're getting less silver from that as well, in terms that the gear that you're getting is a bit more interesting. You might be tempted to roll more pieces, and it costs a bit more energy to do them, and you're kind of like dropping on the amount of gear that you're selling. You're not selling as much initially, then you roll up a few, they waste your silver, and then you're gonna end up in selling it most probably because it doesn't roll good, and your silver just gets lower and lower. What would be like the best accomplishment that you've got in Plat for the last 3 months, right? You started pushing Plat around 3 months ago. This is kind of like where the account stands. This, you see guys on the screen, this is actually his offense team, probably you've noticed by the name, but what's kind of like your best accomplishment?
so my best placement so far was 151.
Not bad at all, actually. Yeah.
And that was like the week before, either the week before or I can look back at my Plat pushes on YouTube, but it was like around that time just before they had the 10x for the duo.
Mm-hmm.
So ever since the 10x for the duo has been a bit rough. I've had like 171 after that. Most of them have been in the 200 since then. So it's been a bit rough. So that's my highest placement. I usually get around 20 or so fights in. This past reset, 2 hours ago, I did 26 fights on offense.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like I know if I win a certain amount of fights, then I'm either gonna place or not, and I have to also pace myself because my defense, like I don't have meta defense champion, so I already know if I push up too high, like I'm gonna get hit 5-10 times, like really quickly too. So it's like in my mind, it's very difficult. It's like, do I push up? Do I try to get safe? Because you get hit 5 times and you're out, like depending on how many points you're worth, depending on how many points you drop. Like I'm still refining my plan for pushing, but 151 right now is my highest placement.
Yeah, that's pretty good, man. That's actually good considering that it's been 3 months only and you're still getting the hang of it. And I was gonna ask you kind of like what's your strategy? Like you plan to keep it a bit safe, stay top 200 before the last 15 minutes and then just go all in. You're trying to rank a bit higher, but you kind of like covered it in there and you're kind of like in between. Okay, today I'm gonna try to maybe push a bit higher. It's good to kind of like test the waters, This week maybe you're gonna go in and be like top 50, because it's easier to rank up before the last 15 minutes. But then, how you mentioned, everybody's gonna sense the weakness in the team and they're gonna go for it instantly, and that can drop you out super quick. Like that can happen to pretty much everyone. Like a lot of times you're gonna go in and you get hit by 5-10 people back to back to back to back, and you're just like instantly top 400 or completely out of platinum, and you're like, my god, how hard it is to catch up now in the last 15 minutes when everybody's kind of like putting their true defense in. So I think it's definitely better to wait a little bit and then just go in slowly rather than be placed high, especially if you don't have something very, very nasty in your defense, because if you do have something nasty in the defense, you can play it a bit around and be like, you know what, I'm gonna rely on my defense, I'm gonna go all in, I'm gonna get some wins in. And of course, it doesn't matter how confident you are with it and what champs you have, is still a lot of RNG with pretty much everything in the game. Wins, losses, they all kind of like play an important factor. The main the main thing that's the most annoying in my opinion is having that 3% chance of getting resisted. Like that can mess you up. Sometimes you might go an entire day without happening, right? During Plat reset. Next week, you might get it 3 times back to back, and that might cost you the fight. It's like so annoying. You know, when you either using Warlord, either using Kaimar, it's just so freaking annoying when that happens, no? What do you think about it?
Yeah, man, the 3% is a mechanic that it should honestly just be removed from the game. It doesn't, I don't see how they justify it. You know, if we have like percentage-based values to accomplish something, right? Like, you know, bosses have a certain base accuracy based resist, right? We have the crit rate percentage, a crit damage percentage, right? And skills are going to scale based on the other stats and that value. It's like, how can you implement a 3% that probably 90% of the player base doesn't know about at that point, if not more people don't know about? You know, I see it all the time when people are like, oh, this doesn't work here, or this didn't happen. Why didn't this happen? I'm like, you don't know about the 3%. Like, so obviously, like, it's something that everybody doesn't know about. And I don't know how they even justify that. I know everything in this game is a gamble, but sheesh, man.
It's basically like...
It's a killer.
It is like Bloom, you know? So basically, shooting games, Fortnite started implementing as well before Bloom. So basically, you were putting your cross aim onto the head, right, to give a headshot, and the Bloom was moving the cross just so you weren't becoming too good. So if you were very good at the game, the weaker opponent stood no chance in defeating you, basically, you know. So like that, they wanted to give a bit of a chance to people that are not as good at the games to have a chance at winning. In this case, it's people that don't have enough accuracy to give them a chance to lock the opponent regardless, you know. So it's kind of like that sort of effect. More and more games are starting to implement that, just mainly for casual players that... This is mainly from shooters, but casual players that are not super experienced at the game, and then to have a chance as well to don't feel like they're completely getting obliterated every time, you know. So I feel like Plarium took a bit of a example in here, and they made that 3% chance. So guys, the best placement for him was a bit over top 150, which I think is definitely a very solid placement. We're not gonna showcase champions and stuff in this video. If you guys would like to see champions and builds for the future videos and kind of like to share more in detail things, let us know in the comments down below. And now for the end, H, you wanna disclose, if you're feeling comfortable with it, like what sort of money you've spent for like the last 1 year or so on the game, kind of like people to get an idea?
Yeah, just around 2,000 USD.
Yeah, so that's actually not... I mean, for some people, 2,000 USD is serious money. For other people, no. But I feel like it's definitely... Your account is definitely in a pretty good spot, you know, for that sort of transaction to Plarium. Let me put it like that. You do have...
Well, the first year was bad, man.
Was it? First year was bad, huh? Well, yeah, but you managed to get some of the meta champions, especially some of the more recent ones. Rotos was a fusion. Quite a few other champions were fusions. Like I've seen you got Brogni. Yes, you did have to spend some money to get this fusion, like Brogni, for example. Rotos was not such a hardcore fusion. Like, was not a massive paywall.
I missed the Rotos fusion. So
you managed to pull 2 of them.
I pulled both of them. I missed the Rotos fusion by just a few weeks.
Oh, wow.
So I started playing at like the end of the Rotos fusion.
Yeah, that's actually not bad. I
was kind of sad about it once I learned what fusions were.
Yeah, it was a nice fusion, but it's not bad that you managed to pull 2 of them since, you know, because it's so hard to pull the right champions, guys. Like, you know it, I don't have to repeat it. Like, we all know how painful it is to hit the right champion. And when you have a 10x, like, we had a 10x this weekend, right? I went in, opened a couple of Sacreds, bang, I got Kyoku. I love the champion, but I'm not using her for what I need. If I'm going on a 10x for a meta champion, I'm not getting it. You know, it's like I feel like we're always in that sort of motion. We're getting the 10x, but not the one that we need when we really want it. You know, and we open randomly shards there. So right here, we're quickly gonna check the last placement that you had. I see that they actually dropped you out in gold from platinum. It does get pretty hard. 35 seconds left, so I'm curious to see if you're gonna manage to make your way back in it. It is pretty hard every now and then, guys. It's gonna happen, how he mentioned. If you're pushing too high, you're gonna get dropped. If your defense doesn't really has some sort of a threat in there for people to be afraid of attacking it, everybody's gonna hit it. A lot of people go in and attack a team and they don't care that, you know what, this might take me 2 minutes to win, 3 minutes to win, I'm still gonna do it, instead of focusing on getting some quick wins in that time. So a lot of people do that, and yeah, I see here that they managed to keep you out. Unfortunately, the defense got hammered quite a bit, and you were talking about rotos, right? When you're keeping rotos in, people are staying away. That's mainly because he brings so much RNG to the fight with extra turns. Like, you can lock him, you can do a lot of things to him, but he's able to recover much faster than the rest of the champions, and that's why he's still so damn powerful, man. And I would strongly suggest you to keep him in the defense, and hopefully you're gonna pull another one to make that +2, because it makes a massive difference, 100%.
Yeah, I need to get him in there. I actually rebuilt Rotos about 2 weeks ago, just to try to, achieve some of the stats that I see people using on Rotos now. But if I could change my Siffy, I would 100%. Like, I feel like my defense would be a lot better if I had like the slow Siffy fast Rotos to be able to counter bombs, to be able to counter, like, obviously people just coming in with Baron or Georgette. Georgette is going to be a different story because he could probably take out a Rotos. But even still, like, Rotos is still a solid counter for Georgette, because he, yeah, like I've seen people testing Georgette against him. I saw Rats testing Georgette against him, and it just, that was when he was first brought into the game. Though obviously people have like +4 Georgette now, but yeah, if I could slow my Siffy down, I feel like my defense would be better. But because she's so fast, like, her buffs are gonna drop off. Somebody's gonna kill her, and then Rotos is gonna be by himself. Or I still need some other pieces there. I probably 100% need to build a defense around Rotos, though.
100%.
Because Harima's not getting it done.
Yeah, it is pretty hard, man. But H, thanks a lot for coming on the channel, bro. Guys, make sure you're gonna head over and check out his channel. The link will be in the pinned comment. You're gonna be able to find all sort of content there as well. Awesome content, and we're probably gonna drop a video on his channel as well, so make sure you guys stay tuned for it. H, you wanna kind of like fill us in? What's going on in your life? What plans you have for the channel? Doing anything crazy in the next couple of weeks or so?
Yeah, so in the next couple of weeks, I'm hoping to have, a few more content creators on for Jeopardy. Again, the Jeopardy was really fun. I did with Hell Hades, so a lot of people gave us some positive feedback. So hoping to do that again. I just did a collab with a smaller content creator. We were talking about Clan Boss team, so that's going to be coming out, and I hope people go and support his channel as well. And obviously, going to be doing something with you as well for the channel. As far as the channel is concerned, it's going to be primarily Raid Shadow Legends content. I have been playing Eternal Evolution, but I won't be putting that much content for it on the channel. As far as life goes, life is good, guys. I'm still a 4th grade teacher. I'll be teaching, for as long as I need to, until, content creation really picks up for me. Just started working with Aftershock United, so hopefully that helps me out a bit too, and I've been enjoying that, working with Chosen, working with you guys. So yeah, the future's looking bright, man, and I'm excited.
Awesome. Stay blessed, brother. Guys, appreciate all of you guys watching, and I'll catch you all soon in the next video. Peace.